What's up, everybody? My name is Jeremy Jones and I'm back with another video. Today I'm talking my weekly sneaker rotation, so stay tuned.
Got a lot of things changing in my life. Hoping one day I'ma get it all right. Brother is engaged, about to start a new life. Yeah, I haven't had a chill day. Really wanna vibe, appreciate the moments. I've been creating, not scrolling. Mom and dad still
Alright, man, I'm back with another video. Now, before I get too deep into this video, y'all already know what to do. Go and hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And if you know, consider subscribing. I made content about sneakers. Alright, so let's dive into today's video. Just like I said in the intro, man, we're back with another weekly sneaker rotation. Now, this should be week 185 to the best of my knowledge. And if I'm wrong, feel free to correct the kid down in the comment section. Now, y'all already know I started this series off at the beginning of 2023, and here we are. This is pretty much week 185. Now, if you want to get a sneak peek of what I'm wearing throughout the week, sign up for that sold out Discord. The link should be pinned at the top of the comment section, and it is free to sign up for. Of course, you know, we continue the sneaker talk. Got a food section, a sports section, a music section, you name it. If I do not get the content out in time, most likely we're already chopping it up in the sold out Discord, right? Okay, so enough rambling. Let's just go and just dive right in. Now, y'all know I'll end things off on a Friday, then pick right back up on Saturday. So this Saturday, the kid actually went to the chop shop, which probably the time I dropped this video, probably time to go back, but I stepped in one of my favorites low-key that I don't wear enough, and that is the Air Jordan 12 Wings, right? Okay, now, I did have to pay a little extra on these on the resale market, but that was a time where, to be honest, the resale market was quote unquote somewhat fair, or it hadn't reached the peak of where we've seen it get up there, even though now I think reality check has came in and seems like it's back to where it once was, slightly still on the high side, but not as bad as nowhere near as it was back in like 2020, 2021. But yeah, arguably one of my favorite shoes. I will say this, it features all of my favorite colors with the exception of red. We got the white, got the gold, the black, of course. Now this is one of those where it is like a scratch off, where this black material, apparently if you scratch it off, it will actually reveal like some material underneath, but I actually like the shoe the way it is. And to be honest, I know they say the 12s is for the hood, but hey, while it is a little bit of a high on the ankle, it is comfortable, right? So this was my Saturday shoe, was an Air Jordan 12 Wing. Cool. Now to move right on to Sunday. Pretty much, y'all know the kid do his very best to just prep for the work week, because y'all know I work a full-time job, so yes, I'm up in there Monday through Fridays, but this one is Sunday, and you know, I was in my beaters, Yeezy slides, and yes, I know it's time to bring out the other pairs, and y'all know I do from time to time whenever I'm just moving out and about, but you know, at home, not really doing nothing, and most times I'm just probably chilling, not even having these on, but sometimes if I do have to say like run a quick errand or just have to step somewhere around in my neighborhood, I'm most likely in these right here, right? Okay, so yeah, this was my Sunday shoe, was a Yeezy slide, and this is the Pure colorway. And I will say the main reason I probably hang on to these is because, yeah, it's like molded to my feet at these joints, so it's naturally already like shaped, right? Okay, so this was my Sunday shoe, was a Yeezy slide, Pure. All right, now we're gonna move right on to Monday. Pretty much, y'all know, right back into work for the kid. This shoe, y'all actually did see me do a mall ball pickup, and I think a lot of people really didn't go crazy for these. Maybe the hood didn't, they did sell out, but you know what? It is what it is. Monday, right back into work. Stepped in none other than the Air Jordan 12, and these are the playoffs, right? Okay, kind of looks just like the Wings, except we don't have that gold. We have like that little silver hit, and then it obviously features what the Wings is missing, in my opinion, which is the red, right? Okay, so we got the red on the back right here, and of course we got the 23 on these guys. Yeah, I couldn't resist, man. Now, I will say the only downside of having like that white bottom, like of course that toe area, it gets dirty very quickly. I don't know if the camera's gonna do this any justice. Not that I even really wanted to, but it's kind of one of those, still worth wearing in my opinion. So I brought these out on Monday. You already know at this point in the video what type of week it is. So this was my Monday shoe, was the Air Jordan 12 playoff. Cool. Now gonna move on to Tuesday, right back at work. Again, I probably have one of the most, like, I guess you can say, not so exciting lives. I mean, I work, pay bills, and keep it moving, man. But anyway, pretty much, right back at work, I stepped in none other than the Air Jordan 12 Michigan. Now, I did pick these up on sneakers, and for whatever reason, while red is my favorite color, I'm also a major sucker for the color yellow, which I think that hint of yellow, which, you know, obviously represents Michigan, you know, it obviously sold me on these guys. And then that suede material on these guys, even after having these shoes for so long, it still does that moving pattern material on these. I think Jordan Brand them did a great job. And on the inside of these joints right here, I don't know if the camera's gonna do this in justice, got that inside leather feeling nice and cushioning. These actually are super duper comfortable, and I do not regret my purchase. And I was able to catch a W on the sneakers app back when you could actually hit, or at least when I could actually hit back in the day. But anyway, this was my Tuesday shoe, was the Air Jordan 12 Michigan. Cool, now we're gonna move on to Wednesday, right back into work. This shoe, I've told the story 100 times. Probably one of my tough pickups. We had to wait in line forever, but I did actually cop them right before everything started going app-based, right? Okay, so Wednesday, right back to work, stepped in none other than the Air Jordan 12, and these are the Masters, right? Okay, now, again, like I told you guys before, I'm a sucker for that hint of gold, where this doesn't have too much, and then it has that white and black. No red, but all over dominant black shoe. I mean, can you really go wrong with it? In my opinion, no. And the story behind it, you know, is pretty much is basically describing Michael Jordan as pretty much like the master of like basketball, right? Okay, even though that may not be, or we can debate that, but I mean, that's sort of like some of the story that was behind the shoe. Now, I don't remember the exact same time, but at the time, right? And I had to say this was probably back in like 2015-ish, give or take. Yeah, the kid was sold on these. 2015 or 2016, probably even 2016. But yeah, arguably one of my favorites in my collection, and I will probably bring these out almost randomly at any time. So yeah, this was my Wednesday shoe, was the Air Jordan 12 Master. Cool. Now I'm gonna move right on to Thursday, right back at work, and this shoe I did have to pay resale for. I feel like this one offers a lot of versatility and you can almost wear it with anything. And you know, they did do several different colorways, and I'm talking the Air Jordan 12 PSNY, which is that public school, New York. Now they did do other colorways. There is an all over like burgundy colorway that I actually want to cop, but I feel like I've just waited a little too long probably to cop, so I probably just gotta let that go. But this is arguably one of my favorites in my collection that I don't wear enough, and it's all over gray. Y'all know me, right? I will say this. I always say this is my favorite color, this is my favorite color, but gray is the color that I will always take a look at because of the versatility it brings to the game. They say all over, like all black matches everything. They say all white matches everything. I say all gray matches everything. I think it just depends on the situation of when you need to wear the joint. But anyway, got away with wearing these on Thursday at work, and yeah, I mean, don't regret my purchase on these at all, and arguably one of my favorites in my collection. So this was my Thursday shoe, was the Air Jordan 12, and these are the PSNY. And I think they're just calling them the gray, right? Okay, but PSNY for the purpose of this video. Anyway, I'm gonna move right on to Friday. I think arguably one of my most recent pickups with the 12s, if I can remember correctly. I remember I actually did a video where I tried to go pick them up on the resale market. Then I end up actually getting them on the resale market, and I sold my resale pair and bought a new pair when these finally came out, because a lot of people didn't really care about these. And I'm talking none other than the Air Jordan 12 Taxis, right? Again, what do you guys see in the theme of this? Hint of gold right there. White and black, can't really go wrong with it. Now, there is a little bit of red on the back, and I think the main reason we call it a Taxi is because that right there, and of course, the bottom of these joints right here. And I just feel like this shoe doesn't get the respect that it deserves, man. This is one of those shoes like back in the day. Yeah, it's just one of those was a must have, and I don't even think I could have it back then, right? Okay, so arguably, I think whenever they did re-release, I couldn't get them at that time, and I had to go back and get them. And then I knew when they dropped a fresh pair, I was not gonna try to miss these guys. But anyway, this was my Friday shoe, was the Air Jordan 12 Taxi. Cool, so pretty much that completes my weekly sneaker rotation for this week. Y'all sign off in the comment section and let me know what you wore throughout the week as well. I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of this thing and stop rambling, man. Y'all be sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And if you're new, consider subscribing. I made content about sneakers. Again, my name is Jeremy Jones, and thank you for watching, and I'm out.